Alright guys, today I'm going to be going through a couple labs, 6.1, 6.2, 6.3, 6.4. So it's basically just how to set up a router and configure it using, passwords, going through all the different configuration modes, saving configurations, using help and edit features, and basic stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and just grab a switch or a router, just throw it out there, and going to go ahead and let's see here. I'm actually going to change this for a switch. So in my packet tracer program, I'm going to click on switches, and then I'm just going to click on any switch. We'll just get the 2960, pretty common one. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead, double click on it, click on CLI. So we're in the CLI, and then we're gonna click EN or type enable, or first hit enter. Then we're gonna type EN. You can either type EN or enable. It's the same thing. There we go. So now we're in the privilege mode. Once you type enable, we're in privilege mode, and what we're gonna want to do is erase the configuration. Let's say if it had a configuration on it, we'd want to erase it. So we would type erase startup dash config, enter, and then we can click yes. So it's gonna go ahead and erase the startup configuration. So now we're going to reload it. Alright, reload, and then type Y for yes, and then it's going to go through and reload. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start that one more time. Click, hit enter, and then at the switch we're going to type in question mark now, and then this right here gives you a list of different commands that you guys can input at this location. So if you want to do connect, disable, disconnect, enable, exit, log out, ping, resume, show, telnet, terminal, and trace route. So that once you hit a question mark, it gives you your options, what you can enter. So that's very, very helpful. So if you guys, I think that's it, but sometimes if there's more commands, if you hit the space bar, it'll scroll down for you. Alright, and then if you want to type Q, that would just quit. So Q. But let's go ahead and move on. So now we're going to go ahead and let's wait for that to load here. We're going to go ahead and go back into privilege mode. So let's go ahead and type EN, just a shortcut for enable. Okay, and now if you type a question mark, now it gives us the options that we have when we're in privilege mode. So all these little options, and this is the setting that I was talking about, that if there was more commands, if you press enter, it'll go one by one, or if you press the space bar, it'll just go down to the bottom and it'll give you the whole list right there. So these are a couple of the commands that we have here. Clear, clock, configure, disable, disconnect, enable, ping, reload. So you guys just want to go through these and read them. And then we're just going to quit out of here. So just type Q for quit, and that should quit. Let's see. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and type in config. So click on that, config. So now it says configuration from terminal. Oh, sorry. So now it says configuration from terminal or network, and what we want to do is configure our terminal. So let's go ahead and click T for terminal. Alright, so now we're in the switch. So let's go ahead and type in interface F0/1. So now we're in fast Ethernet 01. Okay, if we were to type in interface GIG, so gigabit Ethernet, and then 01, we would be in gigabit Ethernet. So I'll give you an example of that. So if we just type in INT, so it's a shortcut, and then gig, shortcut for gigabit, and then 0/1, gigabit Ethernet 1. Oh, hold on. So now let's go ahead and type in encapsulation. Encapsulation and then question mark. Whoa, let's try to quit out of that. Encapsulation, question mark. Let me try one more thing here. Before we type that, let's type in interface 0. So that's interface. Wow. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and type exit. Now this brings you back one level. So now let's go ahead and hit Control Z. So notice that this brings you back to the configuration mode and then places you back into privilege mode. Okay, so let's type disable, hit enter, and now exit. And now we're all the way out of the switch. Okay, so now let's go ahead and type enable again, or en, and now question mark. That would give us the options that we have available there. Alright, and now let's type in CL question mark, and then that'll give you anything that starts with those two letters or starts with the CL. It'll bring up that word. So we would have clear or clock, and it brings up both of them, clear or clock. Okay, so now let's type in clock. Whoa. Clock, and then question mark, and see what we can do with that. So then it just brings back clock. Okay, so now let's type in clock set, and it brings back clock. Alright, so now let's type in clock set, and then the address, or what we'd want to set it to. So 10, not the address, the time, sorry, 10 30 30. And now if we type in a question mark after that, that'll give us hours, minutes, seconds. So that's how you do it. And then date, we go 14th May question mark. So then that'll give us a year. And now we type in 2016, and then hit enter. And now our clock is set. So now we'll type in show clock, enter, and then it'll show us the time, the clock, or the hour, and the date. Okay, so now let's type in show access list, and then 10. Show access list, and then press Control A. And then this takes you back to the beginning of the line. So instead of having to scroll all the way back like this, you can just hit Control A. That takes you all the way back to the beginning of the line. So Control Control A. There we go. So now type in Control E. That takes you to the end of the line. Okay. So now let's take and click Control A one more time, all the way to the beginning. Now click Control F. Control F. Control F. And this moves your cursor forward one character. So if we go Control B, it goes back. So back one character. Okay. So now let's press Enter and press Control P. That brings the previous command up on the line. So instead of having to retype that again, you just press Control P. Okay. So now let's type in show history. Oh, let's try that one more time. Show history. Alright, there you go. So once you type in show history, it brings you all the previous commands that you have entered. Well, not all of them. There's a certain length that your history list can be, or you know how big it can be, and it shows you whatever's in that list. So there's that. So now if we type in show terminal, enter. So this will gather the terminal statistics and the history size. Okay, so if we type in terminal no editing and hit enter, this turns off advanced editing, and then you're able to see. Whoops. Let's see. Try that one more time. Terminal no editing. Alright, so this command seems to not be working, but usually that command goes through terminal editing and terminal no editing. So terminal no editing is a shortcut, and then it just shows you the keys. It shows you that the shortcut keys don't have an effect until you enable terminal editing. So what you would do if you want to use like the Control A, Control E, Control F, Control B, you would have to turn on terminal editing before you can use those shortcuts. That's pretty much what it does. Alright, so real quickly I want to show you guys one more thing, and it's if you are typing a command. So let's say I'm going to type in show run. I'm going to type in show R and then hit tab, and then that'll finish out the command that I'm trying to enter in. So press enter, and then that will give you that. So now let's type in show, and then I'm going to type in start. So ST, let's say I'm halfway through the command and I hit tab, it'll finish it out for me. Okay, so yeah. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to save a running configuration. So what we're going to do is go enable, and then let's type in show start. So there's no configuration present. So now let's type in show startup dash config. See, I used the tab button there, and then it finished out the command for me. It says there's no configuration present. So that's just one quick way that you can check to see. It's always better to reload and erase the running configuration on your routers or switches or anything like that. So to save a configuration, you would type in copy run start and press enter, and then you press yes, then enter. Okay, that's how you would save one. So alright, so then if you want to type in show start and then hit enter, and it'll show you the startup config, and you can do that, or you can type in show run and then hit enter, or not enter, sorry, I meant tab. So you'll type in show run tab, it'll finish up the command for you, show run config. You'll type in show start and then hit tab, it'll type in the rest of the command for you, and that works anywhere in any mode that you are in the switch or router. You just hit enter, and yeah, there you are. So now if you would like to reload a switch, you just type in reload, and then wait for the device to reload, and then you would just click yes. Alright, so now I'm going to show you guys how to set passwords, and I'm going to go ahead and enter privilege mode. Now type in conf t, and now what we'd want to do is hit or type enable, and then let's use a question mark. Let's see, enable question mark, and now that'll give us the options that we have. It says password or secret, and it gives you a little description of both. So now we're going to type in enable secret, and then I'm not even going to finish typing it out. I'm just going to hit tab secret PAS, and then password, sometimes password. Okay, hit enter, and now that has enabled the secret, that enabled the password. Okay, so now let's log out by pressing Control Z. We'll do Control Z. We have to hit enter again, and now do en again, conf t. Now let's type in enable secret. Okay, so that's how you would set the passwords, and then we can just, at the end of those commands, you would just type in your password that you would want. So let's do Todd, and then we set it to that that password. So enable secret password, and yeah, that's how you do that. So now let's go ahead and exit from here, and let's set the VTY password. Okay, so we'd go enable conf t line. Let's say we don't know where we're gonna go. Line, and then VTY 04. Okay. So now we're gonna type in login. Whoa, login. So right now we're not gonna be able to set a password because we're not gonna be able to tell it because our password isn't set. So that's why we're getting this error right now. So now we're gonna set our auxiliary password. So we're just gonna go ahead and start off by typing line auxiliary 0. Whoops. 0. Let's try that again. Line auxiliary 0, and then we would type in login, and then password, so for some reason it's not working here, but that's what you would do. Okay, and then do the same thing for line console 0. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to setting host name descriptions, IP addresses, and clock rates. So let's say we're going to go ahead and set up, you know, a host name. Okay, so we would type. Let me go ahead and exit out of here first. Let's say en conf t, and now host name. So we type in host name, and then the name of their switch or router. And usually it's best practice to name it name the switch or router by a geographical location. So let's say it's in the downstairs lobby, so, or let's say it's upstairs storage, upstairs storage, and then it'll set the host name to that. Let me try that one more time. There you go. Upstairs storage. So it doesn't like spaces, okay? And that's what it is. And then let's say we want to do a banner. So this banner that we're going to do is for when people try to log in, it'll let them know, hey, this is only for authorized users. And you can do this as like a MOTD, so a message of the day banner. If any system configuration, any work to the system is being done, you can go and set up a banner so that everybody knows about it. So usually I do this by typing banner, and then on this part right here I use a pound sign, or I guess a hashtag nowadays, but you can just use it any two characters at the beginning and at the end. So you use this, and then you'll type in no unauthorized users, or if you want to put system maintenance from 1 to 5 o'clock today, any type of notification, you guys can put it on here, and then you just hit enter, and it would give you that. And actually what I missed was that you actually have to type in banner MOTD, and then you'll type in the pound sign, no unauthorized users, and then enter. And like I said, you can use that very effectively. Like unauthorized users will I don't know, whatever you guys want to put in there, you guys can do so. Alright, so now let's say you have an interface port that you need to set an IP to. So we're already, or let's just go ahead and start it from the beginning. We'd go exit. So did you notice also that it changed the name of our router to upstairs storage, because that's what we use as our host name. So that way it's a lot easier to find if anything ever goes wrong with it, So we'll go ahead and start off by going to enable conf t, or we gotta type in our password first, if I remember what it was. Okay, there we go. So en. Alright, so we're in our router. What we want to do to set our IP address is go and type enable conf t, and then we'll go ahead and type the interface that we want to configure. So let's just go ahead and type in interface, and again you can use the tab button to finish for the system and finish the command that you're typing. Interface FA, so fast Ethernet 0/1, enter. So now we're in fast Ethernet 1, and now we'll type in IP address 192.168.1.1, subnet mask 255.255.255.255.2, like that. Okay, you just hit enter, and it sets your IP and your subnet mask. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. A lot easier once you get the hang of it. Yeah.